Matthew Miller.
Now to Miami, Florida, where a bond hearing's underway for 43-year-old Matthew Miller. The previous day, Miller left a gruesome scene at a grocery store after he stabbed two people inside. The reason for the bloodshed?
So he stabbed somebody over a chicken Caesar salad that he was stealing.
Yes, you heard correctly.
So he stabbed somebody over a chicken Caesar salad that he was stealing. It's not funny. Could have killed the victim.
Miller stabbed an employee in the chest and another in the knee after they confronted him while he was trying to steal an $8 salad. Miller was arrested soon after, and the two victims were taken to the hospital in stable condition.
They shouldn't have gotten involved in a salad.
You're not supposed to steal. And you're not supposed to stab people over a salad or anything else.
Miller may think the whole ordeal is humorous, but the charges he faces could land him in prison for life.
Mr. Miller, you were arrested for 2 counts of armed robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon, 2 counts of aggravated battery, 1 count of retail theft, 1 count possession of drug paraphernalia.
So do whatever you need to do and let me go back to my cell. This is just nonsense. He wasn't even a real person.
Excuse me? I couldn't hear you. Why don't you put the volume on so I can hear him? What did he say? It wasn't a real person?
Right.
Considering the severity of Miller's charges, Judge Mindy Glazer makes it clear she does not want him released from custody.
For the record, I'm making a preliminary finding of proof evident presumption grade to hold you no bond. Good day.
I don't care what you say, lady. My family is CIA. That means we got authority over you and your nonsense.
Miller would later be found guilty of 1 count of armed robbery with a deadly weapon and 2 counts of aggravated battery and was sent to a mental health facility for treatment. Next, we go to the Miami-Dade courthouse, where Judge Catherine Pooler's presiding over a bond hearing. The defendant, Calvin Lloyd Griffith, allegedly broke into a local school and stole an employee's car. Griffith was arrested and is here on charges of grand theft, burglary, and trespassing. He also violated his probation from a previous car theft.
Calvin Lloyd Griffin Jr. on page 12. Good morning. Mr. Griffin is charged with burglary, petty theft, grand theft of a vehicle, and trespass. And he's on probation.
He's out on probation, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm on probation, I'm on paper.
Okay.
Officer be in here anyway, because I smoke weed and cocaine. So the officer... I smoke weed and cocaine.
The court officials decide to cut Griffith's mic off to prevent him from talking over everyone.
So the officer...
Okay. You're Calvin Griffin?
Mr. Senator has the button pressed.
Oh, okay.
As Judge Pooler continues looking over the paperwork, Griffiths continues to try to get the attention of the judge.
Okay, let's see.
But with Judge Pooler unable to hear Griffith, he decides to try a different approach.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
Not impressed with Griffith's twerking abilities, the judge moves on with the case.
State is requesting that Your Honor set the bond, but reset the case in division tomorrow because his actions violate his probation.
Judge Pooler agrees with the state attorney and sets Griffith's bond at $18,500.
And there's a statewide order from Miami Edison Senior High. If you should get out, do not go back there. You're not a student anymore. Okay? Thank you for coming in.
As the judge moves on to the next, less entertaining defendant, Judge Pooler looks back fondly on her time with Calvin Griffith.
I want the last guy to come back and teach us how to dance. He's a pretty smooth guy.
We head to Orlando, Florida. The defendant is 39-year-old Jeremy DeWitt. He's been charged with impersonating a police officer. DeWitt runs a company that provides private security escorts during funeral processions.
I'll get the light before the bridge, you get the light after the bridge.
It's a legitimate business that DeWitt is authorized to operate.
Get to me, get to me, get to me.
What he's not authorized to do is direct traffic.
Go past me, go past me. Repo, take this intersection and keep this under control.
Weave through traffic at illegal speeds.
I just did 110 down this road.
Or, most notably, pull over.
Hey, pull over, pull over.
And confront drivers while dressed somewhat like a real officer.
What are you doing? What the does it look like I'm doing, dumb? Get the over before you find out.
Stop pretending you're a police officer.
Listen, I know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. What you need to do is figure it the out before you start talking.
With such blatant behavior, the local media gets wind of what DeWitt is up to. Before long, he appears on the radar of the real police. And in 2019, after police observed him breaking traffic laws, he's arrested while working a funeral.
Who is this guy? Oh, that's Jeremy right there?
When officers questioned DeWitt about the registration of his motorcycle, which comes up as stolen, he becomes livid.
Sergeant, my vehicle's not stolen, Sergeant. I can tell you right now, everything's being videotaped on my body cam, Sergeant. Okay, you're I have the registration for the vehicle, Sergeant.
Officers search DeWitt and find an arsenal of police gear, including handcuffs, mace, and a baton.
Because the Honda was stolen, and we got the tag back from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and then we registered it to that motorcycle.
But as DeWitt loudly attempts to explain the situation,
In the car, dude.
officers have had enough.
You just chill. If it's an issue, we'll figure it out. But you screaming and yelling isn't going to change that. Well, just sit tight. Okay.
DeWitt's charged with impersonating an officer and released on bond. But while out on bond, police get a warrant for DeWitt's own body camera and find a wealth of incriminating footage, including more pullovers.
Get the over!
And additional confrontations with drivers DeWitt considers interfering in his escorting a funeral procession.
Hi! How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
You must have missed that it's 45 through there, and then you use the turning lane to cut through traffic.
Yep.
I understand you're in a nice car and everything, but let's be a little more mature the way you drive. Let's drive the right way then.
Are you a cop?
Don't worry about what I am, because I'm a state agent, so
Yeah, well,
what you need to do is make sure you're doing the right thing, boy.
The driver pulls away. But it doesn't take too long for DeWitt to catch up.
Yeah.
That's real nice.
Yeah, I know.
Real professional.
The way you almost hit me, boy,
Yeah,
is the way it's
except
professional,
you
bitch ass.
You're not a cop.
You want to fight?
You're violating the rule, too.
How's that?
Don't even act like you're stopping me.
I didn't pull you over. Did I make a traffic on you, boy? Come on, let's go, bitch.
DeWitt's arrested again and brought before the judge with 2 more charges of impersonating an officer.
You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for falsely impersonating an officer.
Once again, is released on bond.
About the new cases.
Turns out DeWitt has quite a history of playing cop. He was convicted of the same charge back in 2001. But DeWitt can't seem to stay out of trouble. And after multiple arrests for impersonating an officer, he's back in court again.
Your name, sir?
I'm sorry, Jeremy Charles DeWitt, Your Honor.
This time he's not here for being a fake police officer, but for failing to register a vehicle as a very real sex offender. In 2005, DeWitt was convicted of lewd or lascivious battery involving a victim between 12 and 15 years old.
Mr. DeWitt, you're here today because you're arrested on an arrest warrant for a sex offender violation, failing to register as required. You're also out on bond on 5 charges of falsely impersonating an officer.
The state is requesting his bonds be revoked on his prior cases, giving the new law violation, continued pattern of criminal activity, and he also poses a flight risk.
The prosecution again asks that his bond be revoked. But once again, DeWitt catches a break.
No, I'm going to leave the bonds in place.
As for his remaining impersonation charges, Until his trial begins, Witt remains free on bond.
Stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Please stand up.
Next, we
Come
head
on
over
in
to the
jail. Raise your right
Miami-Dade
hand to be
Bond
sworn
Court in
in.
Miami, Florida,
The one sleeping there, you can wake up too in the back row. Number
where Judge
4,
Mindy
sleeping
Glazer's
corrections. You may
overseeing
want to
bond
wake them up.
hearings.
Thank you. I have a few announcements. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent all defendants unless you tell me you have money to pay for a private lawyer or if you are hiring a private lawyer and one is here. Also, please let me know if you have served in the United States military or any of the reserves. Good morning.
Good morning.
Over the next few hours, she'll see dozens of defendants.
You were arrested for second-degree murder.
As they step in
I'm in the military, Your Honor.
You are?
and quickly step out.
Hi, Mr. Booth. How are you?
How you doing, ma'am? Okay, ma'am.
49-year-old Arthur Booth is a career criminal, charged with burglary, grand theft, fleeing, and resisting arrest.
You have actually 3 arrest affidavits. Reckless driving, damage to property, leaving the scene of a crash with serious injury.
With no serious injury.
I'm sorry, no serious injury.
Okay.
After questioning, Judge Glazer explains the terms of his bond.
The bond on count 1 is $7,500.
But the judge notices something familiar about this defendant.
Okay, Mr. Booth, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to Nautilus for middle school?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry to see you there. I always wondered what happened to you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
This is the nicest kid in middle school.
Oh my goodness.
He was the best kid in middle school. I used to play football with him, and all the kids, and look what has happened. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
The surprise reunion between the 2 former middle school classmates is almost too much for Booth to handle.
Oh my goodness.
Once a promising student, Booth fell into drug and gambling addictions that led him into a life of petty crime, resulting in multiple stays in prison.
Oh my goodness.
Good luck to you, sir. I hope you're able to come out of this okay and just lead a lawful life.
The reunion somberly concludes as Glazer sets bail at $43,000.
Okay. All right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Booth is sent to prison for 10 months and then released into a drug treatment program. Now to the Moore Justice Center in Brevard County, Florida,
2 charges, assault and resisting. You have the public, Mr.
where public defender Andrew Weinstock and his client are appearing before Judge John Murphy, whose voice you hear.
Defender, public defender, what do you want to do?
But they filed?
They have.
I'm not waiving.
All right, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do? I'm not waiving. You want to set it for trial, set it for trial.
Judge Murphy wants the defendant to waive his right to a speedy trial because the court's schedule's backed up. Weinstock isn't budging, and tensions are mounting.
If I had a rock, I would throw it at you right now.
You know,
Stop pissing me off. Just sit down. I'll take care of it. I don't need your help.
No,
Sit
you know
down.
what? I'm the public defender. I have a right to be here, and I have a right to stand
I said
and represent
sit
my
down.
clients.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just beat
Let's
your
go.
ass.
They both head to the hallway behind the courtroom, just out of the view of the court's cameras. Believe it or not, they get into a physical altercation until Judge Murphy returns to the courtroom alone.
Thank you.
I will catch my breath eventually. Man, I'm an old man.
Once Judge Murphy catches his breath, he continues with the rest of the hearings without Weinstock present.
Your choices, considering there's probably going to be a changeover in personnel, are setting it for trial June 9th, or if you were wanting to waive speedy, we would set it for July 15th.
I would like to get it done as fast as possible.
That doesn't help me.
The incident's investigated by the Florida Judicial Qualifications Commission, who charged Judge John Murphy with threatening to commit violence against an assistant public defender, engaging in a physical altercation with counsel, and resuming his docket while defendants were without counsel. The case eventually reaches the Florida Supreme Court, which orders the immediate suspension and permanent removal of Judge Murphy from his post. Andrew Weinstock later resigns from the public defender's office. Next, we head to a virtual bond hearing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Judge Tabitha Blackman presiding.
Demetrius Lewis on page 26.
The defendant is Demetrius Lewis, who appears remotely.
How you doing? How you doing?
All right, I'm good, sir. How are you?
Lewis is charged with possession of an illegal substance and attempted burglary, a felony which could send him to prison for 5 years. But today, he's got other things on his mind besides his legal situation.
Judge, you're so gorgeous, Miss Judge. I just have to tell you, you're gorgeous.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
With the entire Zoom watching, Lewis makes a not-so-subtle play for the judge. Notice the reactions from the other parties, including prosecutor Eric Linder.
Judge, you're so gorgeous, Miss Judge. I just have to tell you, you're gorgeous.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Maybe Lewis's charm will help his cause.
All right, Mr. Lewis, flattery will get you everywhere, but maybe not here.
Or maybe not. Judge Blackman remains focused on moving forward with the case.
The court finds probable cause on count 1, burglary, occupied dwelling, unarmed. Count 2, possession of MDMA ecstasy.
She then asks the state for its recommendation.
Your Honor, I'm recommending a $7,500 bond, no victim contact, no return. Noting the allegations, Your Honor, there were 3 children present in the home that Mr. Lewis was attempting to break into.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Linder.
Lewis objects, but the judge moves on to the defense and then renders her decision. She sets his bond at $5,000, which is significantly better than the $7,500 requested by the prosecution.
You're gorgeous.
Next, we head to the S. James Foxman Justice Center in Daytona Beach, Florida.
We are ready to go forward on Keandria Cook, Judge. All right, Miss Cook, come on up.
The woman being sworn in is 18-year-old Keandria Cook. Cook's in court today to receive a sentence for using a dating app to set up a robbery that ended with another teen being shot. The teen survived. Cook has accepted a plea deal that will drop a conspiracy charge, which carried a maximum penalty of life in prison. But counts of carjacking, attempted carjacking with a deadly weapon, and felony battery are still in play.
All right, come on up, Miss Cook. You get to say the final words.
I just want to say that I'm sorry for the things wrong, that her son had to get shot, because I didn't even know he was going to get shot. My boyfriend and his friends did threaten me to do this. I didn't even know what was going on until I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I just want to say I asked for forgiveness for a second chance so I can get out and finish school. And I can make my mama proud, because I want to be her first child to bring home a high school diploma. And I just want to make my mama proud. That's it.
Cook now prepares to hear her sentence as her loved ones look on.
Ms. Cook, you're before the court for sentencing. A couple of things going in your favor. One, you didn't hold a firearm during these episodes. The second is that the victim luckily survived. That being said, this was intentional. It was an orchestrated ambush, and you are a main part of that. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and adjudicate you guilty of all 3 charges, sentence you to 20 years in state prison. Concurrent as to the first 2 counts.
The crying you hear is coming from Cook's mother. The sentence much more severe than they expected.
Charges. All fines and costs.
It turns out that Cook and her mother's reactions were so intense because they believed the plea deal meant no prison time. Judge Foxman allows her to enter a new plea deal, citing miscommunication between Cook and the assistant public defender. As a result of that new deal,
I think he got good in you, and I think he got potential. Don't lose sight of that.
Cook's sentence is reduced to 11 years in prison.
When actions become detached from consequences, that's when madness occurs.
Next, we're in West Palm Beach, Florida for the sentencing of David Anthony. The 44-year-old claims the COVID-19 pandemic, in part, pushed him over the edge and into a violent downward spiral.
And violation saw the COVID pandemic as an end-of-the-world prophecy, an Armageddon that I felt compelled to escape no matter the cost.
In March 2020, David Anthony tried to convince his estranged wife, Gretchen, to travel with him to Costa Rica, where he believed they could escape the pandemic. The couple had been separated after 5 years of marriage. Gretchen declined, but a few days later, friends and family believed she went missing. Police went to her home, but there was no sign of her. That's when investigators put in a call to David Anthony.
Hello? Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Anthony claimed Gretchen wasn't missing, but that she was receiving medical attention at a CDC facility.
I spoke with Gretchen today. You spoke with Gretchen today? Yeah. Gretchen is receiving treatment for the COVID virus.
Unsatisfied with Anthony's explanation of Gretchen's whereabouts, the investigation continued. And then, a breakthrough. In surveillance footage recovered from Gretchen's home, a dark figure can be seen lurking on her patio. Moments later, out of the camera's view, Gretchen makes a muffled cry for help. Then what's done in the darkness comes to light. In the garage, a man wearing rubber gloves can be seen loading items into Gretchen's car. His back remains to the camera right until this moment. Investigators pull this freeze frame. It is David Anthony, and authorities believe he's just murdered his estranged wife.
Hands up the vehicle!
Days later, police track Anthony, who'd skipped town to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and make an arrest.
Am I being detained? You're detained right now, yeah. Watch out.
There's a warrant for your arrest, and I'm going to explain that when we get back to the... Excuse me?
For what?
Homicide.
For who?
Who do you think?
David Anthony was charged with the kidnapping and first-degree murder of Gretchen Anthony, but investigators were still searching for her body.
And what's most important to us right now is to find out where she is. Yeah, I'd like to be able to tell you where she is. Okay. But I don't have that information. You have to ask her. Can I have to ask her?
Anthony denied involvement in Gretchen's murder right up until prosecutors offered him a plea agreement. In exchange for disclosing the location of Gretchen's body, the state would lower his charge from first to second-degree murder, which would take the possibility of the death penalty off the table. Anthony agreed to the conditions and immediately changed his tune. Admitting he dumped Gretchen's body in a wooded area near her home after stabbing her to death inside her garage. Police investigated the location and found Gretchen's remains. Now at sentencing, Gretchen's sister faces down David Anthony.
I would like to say some words to the defendant, whose name and being are not worthy of the air we all breathe. You are a monster. One thing is definite. Gretchen believed in karma. And therefore, we can take some comfort knowing that every day you spend in prison will be as horrific as the murder you committed. You can never be forgiven. You are disgusting.
Before the judge delivers his sentence, Anthony addresses the court.
I created irreparable damage in the worlds of people who loved me. Gretchen loved me, loved me, and Gretchen's family loved me. I disgraced my family. I'm hated by some beyond words, and I brought shame upon my name. Some would call for my death, and I can't offer any reasonable argument against that sentiment. Instead of being a man, I chose to be a coward.
The terms of Anthony's sentence were determined at the time of his plea agreement and confirmed by Judge Kirk Volker.
Okay, Mr. Anthony, I sentence you to serve 38 years in the Florida Department of Corrections.
David Anthony was sentenced to 38 years in prison after pleading guilty to the second-degree murder and kidnapping of Gretchen Anthony. He'll be eligible for release when he's 81 years old. We head down to Daytona Beach, Florida, where a call comes in to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
Communications, Warhurst.
Yeah, I want to report a crime that's about to happen.
What do you mean a crime that's about to happen?
Yeah, there's about to be a crime that's going to happen if my kids don't come back to me, you stupid bitch. Because your stupid judges don't want to bring people to courtrooms. I got a gun pointed at your building.
Sir, what is going on?
Who the you calling, sir, you stupid bitch? Where's your judge warrant at? You gonna bring that bitch out in handcuffs and I'm gonna execute that son of a bitch right in the street. I'm letting you know I'm gonna shoot this bitch. You gonna give me my kids?
Where are you at, sir?
I just told you I'm outside of her building waiting for her to get there in the morning. I'm gonna pop a cap in that bitch. You stupid.
Detectives identify the anonymous caller and track him down. Alan McCarty is arrested and charged with making death threats against a judge, whom he mistakenly believes took his children away in a child custody case. Now, a year later, in front of a different judge, his trial begins.
All right, back on the record, Mr. McCarty, President. He's under oath from the start of the trial.
No, I'm not. I'm not under oath.
All right, raise your right hand. I'm going to swear you in.
I'm not under oath.
Raise your right hand, please.
That's your bad finger. I didn't appreciate that.
So you're going to threaten me like you did the other day?
Threaten you to participate in your...
No, you threatened my life the other day. I am not under oath. This is being done unconstitutionally. You all took my kids unrightfully. You want to allow my witnesses here? You want to allow my paperwork? Y'all took all my court paperwork.
We haven't started the trial yet.
It doesn't matter. You still deny it. You want to take my kids from me and act like that? You and that bitch. You and the bitch that took my kids.
Holly, make sure you take down what I said. He was sworn in.
No, I was not sworn in.
Yes,
I've never been sworn in this court. Bring the camera back. He's making this up.
So, that being said, number one, I need to know whether or not you want to be here during the trial process.
No.
All right, do you want to testify?
No, I don't. This is all being done unconstitutionally, unrightfully.
Do you want to be in the room or not?
Do you want to suck my...
I'd prefer not to, sir.
Well, you got a mouth for it.
No, do you want to be here or not?
Oh, who wants to sit here while you take their kids? This is a conflict of interest. Every right y'all I supposedly have you violated. Can I get some water, please? I got a lot more cussing to do. I need to wet my mouth.
Do you want to be here when the jury's here?
What the do you think?
I don't know. I need you to answer.
McCarty decides he'll stay for witness testimony,
Because my other answers wasn't good enough.
but is ordered out after continuing with his outbursts. McCarty's eventually found guilty. He returns the following month for sentencing.
Everyone ready to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, State of Florida versus Alan McCarty Jr., who is present here today on two reasons. One is to sentence on a jury verdict that had been accepted, but we're also here on an order to show cause, which I would like to address first. First of all, if I haven't formally already, but you're before the court, Mr. McCarty, to show cause why I should not hold you in contempt for behavior that you demonstrated during the jury trial. You threatened the unborn child of the prosecutor.
What a bunch of lies, you stupid piece.
Then also
You threatened my life.
in the
You
back room.
suck it. No, I'm not standing. Stop resisting. I'm not resisting. I'm just not standing up. I'm not standing. I don't have to stand.
McCarty's removed again. This time he's placed in a back room with a one-way mirror.
Count one, I'm going to adjudicate him guilty, sentence him to 15 years in Florida State Prison. As to count two, I'm going to adjudicate him guilty, sentence him to 5 years to run consecutive to count one.
McCarty's currently serving his sentence in a Florida State prison.
Christopher Colon.
Our next stop is at the Broward County Courthouse in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
You've been charged with 2 counts of violating an injunction.
Where Christopher Colon appears for his bond hearing via video before Judge John Hurley.
Court finds probable cause.
Colon was arrested and charged with 2 counts of violating a restraining order in a domestic violence case related to his ex-girlfriend. He also has an open pending case in which he's being charged for aggravated battery against a pregnant woman, his current girlfriend.
I think I remember you from before coming into this courtroom.
Yes, sir.
I remember.
Less than a month ago, Colon posted bond in the aggravated battery case and went free. So the judge isn't exactly thrilled to see him again.
You're already out on bond. You're already out.
Yes, sir, and my bondsman is willing to take me out again on a bond.
That's very kind of him, but that won't be necessary today because you're not going anywhere.
Well, I'll see you guys in with a lawyer and a lawsuit too.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, bring him back, please.
And you can go yourself too.
Colon storms off.
Would you bring him back for me, please?
Colon, come back. Judge, he's back.
Hi. Good morning again, Mr. Colon.
Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Colon. Yeah, don't mute that. Could you turn that mic back on for me? Turn the mic back on.
You guys can. Okay? I'm being dead ass real.
$125,000. Your bond on count 2 will be $125,000. Your total
How much is my bond?
$250,000. That's
okay, no problem. I can bond out, man.
Court will also order, sir, on case 14-7168 CF10, you'll be held without bond. That bond is revoked.
With the amount seemingly no issue, the judge has just taken away the bond from the aggravated battery case, meaning Colon will not be able to go free this time. And this really sets him off.
Like I said, you guys, why you guys had it.
Sir, the court at this time is inclined to hold you in contempt of court.
I don't give a. Go ahead, I got lawyers, man.
Your behavior.
I don't got nothing to say, man.
Now, I will find you in contempt of court for disrupting this court. Now, I will give you
an opportunity. You was already going to find me in contempt of court.
I will give you an opportunity. Is there anything you'd like to say?
You ain't no Hitler, man, for me to have to salute.
Noting that you made no comments in your defense, the court at this time will sentence you to 364 days in the Broward County Jail. Thank you very much. Have a
that's why.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Colon, please.
A week later, Colon is back in front of the judge.
Judge Harley, I apologize. What I did, I was wrong. And not only I was wrong for cursing you out, of the deputies hearing me curse you out, I apologize to them too. Your Honor, I apologize real bad, and I'm asking for my apology, please, Your Honor.
Okay, the apology's accepted. It will be converted to time served at this time.
Colon's apology gets that additional year sentence for contempt cut down to time served, but still gets no bond on the aggravated battery case and serves almost 14 months before he's released.
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics there.
We head to Jackson County, Florida, for the trial of Zachary Wester. The former sheriff's deputy was charged with 67 counts of racketeering, fabricating evidence, false imprisonment, and possession of controlled substances. Wester's accused of planting drugs in a dozen vehicles during random traffic stops.
A substance that appears to be an illegal narcotic. Do you know anything about that? I do not.
All of the drivers denied owning the drugs, but yet most were subsequently arrested.
You have the right to remain silent.
The arrest caused suspicion internally, and in 2018, Wester was suspended. 3 years later, the case went to trial. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
This is a case about an abuse of an incredible power, about the abuse of the incredible trust that we all put, and we have to put, in law enforcement in a society.
The prosecution relied on the defendant's own body cam footage to help argue their case. Stephen Van, a convicted felon, had recently gotten out of jail when Wester supposedly found methamphetamine in his car.
Have you ever seen this before? No. No, what is that? I'm just trying to figure out how that stuff got in your car. You're gonna go to jail today for possession of methamphetamine, okay? Oh man, dude, I'm serious, dude. Anything, what you want me to do, man?
Like the other drivers who testified, Van gave the officer permission to search his car because he claims he had nothing to hide.
And I knew my truck was clean. I knew it was.
While the jury got to watch most of the traffic stops, some recordings had mysteriously disappeared.
Why in the world would that have been deleted? I wish I knew that answer.
Ironically, body cam footage would become the strongest element in the prosecution's case, especially when it came to Teresa Odom.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
At first, the officer's polite, even playful.
Anything in the vehicle I need to be concerned about? Bombs, hand grenades, rocket launchers? Okay.
While Odom stands behind the vehicle, Wester begins his search. Notice as he prepares to put his gloves on, there's a small item in his left hand. Prosecutors argue that Wester is palming a small bag of meth, which he claims to find next to a spoon in the vehicle.
Miss Odom.
It is yogurt, sir.
I know. Okay.
It's yogurt.
How about this, though?
That is not mine. No, sir.
Okay.
Now, the white small plastic baggie that was in that spoon that the deputy just showed you on this video, had you ever seen that before?
No, sir.
Was that in your car?
No, sir.
As far as motive, the prosecution claims the 28-year-old officer was ambitious and wanted to move to narcotics as quickly as possible. Wester testified he never planted any drugs.
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics there.
And after 5 days and several witnesses, the jury was asked to render a verdict. If Wester's found guilty on all charges, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. After 7 hours, the jury returns with its verdict.
In the state of Florida versus Zachary Tyler Wester, we, the jury, find as follows as to the counts charged and the information. Count 1, guilty of racketeering as charged.
The clerk went on to read the verdicts on all 67 charges.
Count 7, guilty of official misconduct as charged.
In total, the crooked officer was found guilty on 19 charges.
Count 9, guilty of official misconduct as charged. Count 10, guilty of official misconduct as charged.
Including misconduct in the arrests of Van and Teresa Odom. 11 of the 12 drivers filed civil lawsuits against Wester. In July 2021, he was sentenced to 12.5 years in a state prison.